Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys the Series anime video. In this video I want to talk about Ash's Pidgeot and Ash's Primeape. More specifically, I want to talk about the fact that they have not returned in aim to be a Pokemon Master, or Pokemon Journeys for that matter, the fact that they likely won't return, the fact that they most certainly deserve to return, and how awful it is that they have yet to return / won't return. So let's get to it. To begin, I want to recap their situation just to set the stage for the discussion ahead. Ash caught Pidgeot as a Pidgeotto in episode 3 of the original series, which is also episode 3 of the anime as a whole. Pidgeotto stuck with Ash for the entirety of the Indigo League arc, and in the first episode after this arc, episode 81, Pidgeotto evolved into Pidgeot and was then released by Ash at the end of the same episode. Ash caught Primeape in episode 25 of the original series, which is also episode 25 of the anime as a whole. And just 4 episodes later, in episode 29, Ash left Primeape with Anthony, who said that he would train Primeape so that it can become a true P1 champion. Now, we have not seen either of these two Pokemon after they parted with Ash, at least not physically. So as of episode 8 of Aim to be a Pokemon Master, the last time we saw Pidgeot was 1,148 episodes ago, and the last time we saw Primeape was 1,200 episodes ago. It goes without saying that these two have been away for a very, very long time. So much so, in fact, that they are both record holders. Primeape has been away the longest out of the Pokemon that Ash still owns, and it has also made the least on-screen appearances out of the Pokemon that Ash has owned for more than one episode. While Pidgeot has been away the longest out of the Pokemon that Ash has released. Plus, it is also the only Pokemon he released that has not returned and reunited with him. It is simply horrible, unreasonable, unbelievable, unfair, and completely bonkers that they have never had the chance to make a comeback, especially when you consider the treatment that the other Pokemon that are / were in the exact same situation got. Just like Primeape, Charizard and Squirtle were / are in training. But unlike Primeape, they both got to return several times to help Ash with critical battles. Charizard even got to finish his training, rejoin Ash for a bunch of episodes, and then go to Professor Oak's lab. Lapras got to return during the Johto saga. Gudra and Naganadel both got to return near the end of their respective series to help Ash in the league in question. All of this was before Pokemon Journeys, which allowed not only all of the Pokemon Ash owns except for Primeape to return, but it also allowed Greninja and Butterfree to return. Then we get to Aim to be a Pokemon Master, the mini-series that is all about nostalgia, especially for the original series. This mini-series allowed Squirtle and Lapras to return once again and for the first time in a good while. Plus, this mini-series has also allowed several of Ash's old Pokemon to be rotated into his team, thus letting them shine for the first time in a long time. So all these Pokemon, whether in training or released, and several of them also from the original series, got the chance to return at least once, while Primeape and Pidgeot have not been seen again outside of openings, flashbacks, and fantasies, which don't count. This is so bad on so many levels that I cannot even begin to properly describe just how terrible it is. I used to think that maybe the writers just forgot about these two, but clearly this is not the case, since Primeape and Pidgeot both show up in the vision Pikachu saw during the battle against Leon, and later in a fantasy when Ash talked about all the Pokemon he has met in his journey. So what gives? Why have Primeape and Pidgeot been neglected like this? Are they just not cool, worthy, or memorable enough to make a comeback? Are they undeserving of making a return? Or have the writers just been unable to come up with a scenario or reason to have them return? All these reasons, and any other that might actually be to blame, are all just BS in my opinion. I think that the real reason for this awful blunder is just negligence. Primeape and Pidgeot both very much deserve to return. They are both worthy of a comeback. They are both cool and memorable enough to make their return something exciting. And there are dozens, if not hundreds, of ways/scenarios to make them return in a fitting and satisfying way. Especially in aim to be a Pokemon Master. The fact that they have not returned just saddens, angers, and frustrates me to no end. Especially because I have been wishing and hoping for their comeback for a very, very long time. And I am sure that many of you have as well. I thought that finally, at long last, this wish would be granted and our hopes would finally have a resolution with Pokemon Journeys. But of course, this did not happen, which is supremely disappointing to say the least. However, then came Aim to be a Pokemon Master, which rekindled the wish and hopes. I thought this time for sure, Primeape and Pidgeot will return. But once again, the wishes and hopes for this have been utterly crushed. Since, at the time of recording this, we are 8 episodes into this mini-series and Primeape and Pidgeot have yet to return. And given what we know of the remaining episodes, it's likely that they will not return. And even if they do, it will be a very brief return, just like Butterfree's, which is better than nothing, sure, but it's not what these two, or Butterfree for that matter, deserve. They need a return that does them justice, especially considering how long they have been away for. But sadly, it's clear that this won't happen. And since Ash is on his way out as the protagonist, it's likely that we will never see Primeape or Pidgeot again. And this just breaks my heart. It's such a waste and so very depressing and disappointing. Also, why even include them in the poster for Aim to be a Pokemon Master if they are not going to return or even be mentioned or shown in a flashback? At least, not thus far, of course. But I am willing to bet that not ever either. Now, before I end the video, I just want to say that Primeape returning presents or presented a perfect opportunity, since we are currently in a post-Scarlet and Violet world. By now, the anime should be in Generation 9, but it isn't. And the only thing that the anime has done to celebrate the release of the new generation is, or are, the special segments we got for the starters, Koraidon and Miraidon. But this is not really enough. Primeape returning, on the other hand, would allow, or would have allowed, the anime to showcase Generation 9 in a big way, since Primeape got an evolution in Scarlet and Violet, Annihilape. Having Ash's Primeape return and having it evolve into Annihilape would be, or would have been, the perfect way to celebrate the release of Scarlet and Violet, while also letting Ash, whose time as the protagonist is almost over, taste the new generation, which he otherwise might not get to actually experience. At least, not on screen. Also, Primeape just had 2 episodes worth of screen time, so it got a heck of a lot less screen time than Pidgeot. Therefore, for both this reason and the previous one, I think that Primeape is the one most deserving of making a return. Though of course, they both very much deserve or deserved to do so. But yeah, that's everything I have for you in this video. Realizing that these two have not returned and likely won't return made me want to make this video. And I hope, and it is my intention, that this video is future-proof. Meaning that no matter when you watch it, whether it is before or after the end of Aim to be a Pokemon Master, the video will be relevant. So hopefully, I accomplished this. Please let me know your thoughts on this matter in the comments down below. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.